with the Moroccan Investment and Export Development Agency, as well as with the Moroccan Agency for Sustainable Energy. We want to talk about the Offre Maroc, the chances and business opportunities in Morocco's green hydrogen sector. For my colleague, Susanne Glaser, and for me, it's a pleasure to have you all here in this webinar. And to give a short introduction, yes, it was last year in June when a delegation trip to Morocco, led by Minister Dr. Hofmeister-Kraut, went to Morocco. And this trip focused especially on renewable energies and hydrogen technologies. A visit to MASEN was also on the agenda, and it was very, very impressive, this visit. This webinar today is a follow-up to that trip, and we are really happy to make that as a trilateral webinar, because I also welcome our colleague from the state of Bavaria, because a hydrogen delegation visit to Morocco took place, headed by the State Secretary of Bavaria, Minister of Economic Affairs, Mr. Tobias Gotthard. So we have two economic powerhouses of the the Federal Republic of Germany in this seminar. This trilateral webinar therefore ties in very well with the context already established with Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria, and we are really delighted to have so many participants. I introduce to you, as he did himself, firstly, Mr. Philipp Marx of Baden-Württemberg International as our central location promotion agency for business and science and for internationalization. We have with us Tabea Ruck from H2 Baden-Württemberg. The platform is the central point of contact and bundles and supports expertise and activities in the field of hydrogen and fuel cell technology in our state, as well. And a very warm welcome to Caroline Reiser from H2 Bavaria. The Hydrogen Center Bavaria is also the central coordination and networking platform for the Free State of Bavaria for hydrogen, and H2B coordinates the Bavarian Hydrogen Alliance, which currently has over 370 partners. We also have with us Birte Beusen from Umwelttechnik Baden-Württemberg, our central point of contact for environmental technology, resource efficiency, and industrial climate protection, which supports companies of our state as a business and technology location. And very, very special warm welcome to Ms. Nala Benslama, Head of Energy and Infrastructure Department of AMDI, the Moroccan Investment and Export Development Agency, and also a big and warm welcome to Mr. Nisa Massini. He's Strategy and Market Intelligence Officer of the Moroccan Agency for Sustainable Energy. We are really delighted to have those two experts with us. And before I hand over the mic to Ms. Nala Benslama, just one proposal. You can pose all your questions during the presentations and put them into the chat. In the chat, Mrs. Reiser and Mr. Marx will gather all those questions. And after the two presentations, we have 30 minutes of Q&A, and we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of time to pose those questions then to our two experts. So with any further ado, I'm delighted to hand over the microphone to Ms. Nala Benslama from AMDI. I'm very interested. My name is Günther Schmid, Head of Division Foreign Trade in the Ministry of Economic Affairs here in the state of Baden-Württemberg. I was part of the delegation, and I'm really looking forward now to those two presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Good morning, everyone. I would first of all would like to thank you, Mr. Schmidt, Philippe, and all your team for organizing and taking this initiative of organizing this web seminar today. I'm very pleased and honored to be speaker and to participate in this web seminar. Maybe before starting my presentation and giving a general overview of what the investment framework in Morocco looks like, let me get our audience a bit familiar about MDE. MDE is the Moroccan Investment Export Development Agency, which is the government entity under the umbrella of the Ministry of Investment, which is in charge of promoting Morocco as an investment destination. Which basically means we accompany investors and make sure to walk them through their investment journey in Morocco, but we also facilitate access of Morocco-based companies to access international markets to promote their products and services worldwide. So let me share my screen. Few seconds. Now, can you confirm
yes.
that you can see my screen?
Yes.
We see your screen.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Now, why Morocco? Why are we promoting Morocco as one of the most competitive and sustainable destinations in the world? For many good reasons. First of all, because we are a nation blessed with tremendous assets, as you can see here. We are a proudly North African country located only 14 kilometers from Europe. So we are basically a bridge between Europe and Africa. We are also a democratic and social constitutional monarchy. We are, by the way, the second oldest monarchy in the world after Japan. As we all know, stability is key for any investment. And Morocco enjoys a stable political, economic, and social environment that is rooted in history, with strong macroeconomic indicators and a royal vision that aims to establish an equitable, inclusive, and resilient society. Morocco is open to trade and to foreign investors, which are, by the way, protected through more than 50 non-double taxation agreements already signed by Morocco. Foreign investors are also free to repatriate their capital and profits with no restrictions. They also have no obligation at all to have a local partner. We are also a world-class hub thanks to the major infrastructure projects that have been built over the past 25 years. So we were busy making massive investments in upgrading our infrastructure to meet the highest international standards, of course, as part of a long-term vision that is driven by His Majesty King Mohammed VI. One of these flagship projects is the first high-speed rail line in Africa, linking Casablanca to the north of Morocco to Tangier, over 200 kilometers, with an extension that is planned and being developed between south of Morocco, Marrakesh, and Kenitra. We have also 18 international airports that are linking Morocco to more than 130 destinations around the world. We have also one of the most developed highway networks in the region, with nearly 2,000 kilometers that will attain 3,000 kilometers by 2030. And this, of course, network links the main economic regions and hubs in Morocco. We also have Tanger Med Port, which is the largest container port in Africa and the Mediterranean basin, which is also the first African port to join the world's top 20 best container ports, with an annual capacity of 9 million containers, linking Morocco to more than 180 ports in more than 75 countries around the world. Not to mention, of course, yes.
Just, I had a reminder here that someone is not seeing the presentation. I can see the presentation.
Okay.
And I think my colleagues too. Just a short question: is it a personal problem, or is also someone suffering and is not seeing the presentation? Maybe the audience can just quickly. Okay, so I think most can see the presentation. Yeah. Okay. It seems like there is some technical issues, but not for the whole group.
Some people can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but so
sorry about
I'm guessing
that. I don't know
no,
how
no,
we
no,
can
it's
fix
not
this.
it's no, it's not a problem because I can see it clearly, and I think most of us too. But there are some people. I see two people who can't see the presentation. Maybe Nakhla, can you reopen it once?
Okay.
And then just to reopen.
Okay, I can retry. Sure.
Thank you very much. And sorry for interrupting.
No problem. No problem at all.
And just for the question in the chat, yes, we will share the slides and also the video recording of the web seminar and of the presentations afterwards. So I will keep you updated about the slides. Don't worry. And now we try to start this again so that everyone is able to see the presentation.
So,
okay,
does everyone can everyone see the presentation?
Maybe you can react with a thumb up or something, because I can see it clearly, and for me it was working too. Thank you very much. So sorry, Nakhla. I think I get many thumbs up. No, it was not your fault. It's
of course we will share the presentation afterwards, but so sorry for the people who can't see it.
Thank you very much for restarting.
Of course.
Okay.
So I was about to present in other than Tanger Med port. There are two other ports that are being, I would say, that also will become flagship projects in Morocco in terms of infrastructure and logistic connectivity. We are talking about Nador West Med, which is located in the northeast of Morocco, in the Oriental region precisely, and which should be commercially operational by by the end of this year. And we have also the Dakhla Atlantic port in the south of Morocco, which should be operational or commissioned by 2028, and which also will play a tremendous role in terms of trade and logistic competitiveness, especially with our neighbors from Africa and West Africa. So, as previously mentioned, Morocco is a competitive logistic hub, ideally located to serve strategic international markets, Europe, Africa, North America, Middle East, and so on. So knowing that Morocco has also signed more than 50 free trade agreements with different countries that provide investors access or duty-free access to a global market of 2.5 billion consumers. Morocco is, by the way, the only African country having signed an FTA with both European Union and USA. We also believe in the limitless potential of our people. We are a country with nearly 37 million inhabitants, speaking Arabic and Amazigh as our official language, mother tongue. French is the second official language, and English is also widely spoken, especially among the young population. Human capital is a major component of Morocco's competitiveness, and it is characterized by the availability of a young labor force. Our median age is 29, compared to, for instance, 44 in Europe. Our labor force is also skilled. Nearly 200,000 students graduate each year from national and international universities based in Morocco. Nearly 20,000 engineers also graduate each year from top engineering schools with competence and skills recognized worldwide, among which 52% are women engineers, which is an exception in the region. Also, 55,000 technicians graduate each year from what we call vocational training centers, which are dedicated to different sectors, including automotive, textile, aerospace, and renewable energy. And these are the fruits of public-private partnership to make sure that we will meet the investors' needs in terms of talent and skills. Morocco has also been able to achieve remarkable performance in different sectors, namely in the automotive sector. So we are first in Africa in terms of installed car production capacity. This is our first exporting sector. We have an ecosystem of nearly 260 suppliers and 2 OEMs, Renault and Stellantis. We're also working to develop an ecosystem around electric mobility, and we have already, maybe you have heard about that, preparing for the first or the largest gigafactory in Africa and the Middle East to manufacture electric batteries in Morocco with Goshen, which is a Chinese leader in this sector. We also are first in Africa in terms of aerospace industry. We have an ecosystem of around 140 tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers, which are manufacturing complex sub-assemblies, aerostructures, and even engine parts delivered to major aircraft manufacturers in the world. And we are proud to say that every commercial aircraft flies in the world with a piece made in Morocco in it. We also are second in Africa in terms of pharmaceutical industry, with the top pharmaceutical companies already having set their footprint in Morocco. We have also national champions in this sector or industry, which are already expanding in Africa, having several units in Africa and expanding worldwide as well. Morocco is also a best cost or a leading best cost destination when it comes to engineering services, with an attractive talent pool, as I have already mentioned, of engineers, but also expertise across high-tech activities, thanks to the development of other industries such as automotive, aerospace, among others. Of course, on top of the all above mentioned assets comes sustainability. And thanks to the national strategy, national energy strategy launched in 2009 under the impetus of His Majesty, and of course based on the exceptional resources of Morocco in terms of solar and wind potential. So Morocco is positioned today as one of the greenest and lowest carbon platforms in the world, with flagship projects such as the Tarfaya wind park in south of Morocco, which is one of the largest in Africa, and also the Ouarzazate solar complex in Ouarzazate, also in south of Morocco, which is the largest CSP plant in the world. And of course, MASEN is the agency that was in charge of supervising these projects. Of course, our aim is to reach a minimum of 52% of our total energy mix from renewables by 2030. And this will be achieved, namely with the pipeline of wind and solar projects that will be or will be developed, such as the Noor-Middelt solar plant, which will be one of the largest hybrid solar plants in the world. Now, of course, based on Morocco's unique assets and its position as a competitive investment and export hub, so the government has made continuous efforts to improve business environment and make it as friendly as possible, namely by implementing and putting in place different mechanisms to encourage investments and FDI, such as the new investment charter, which is set to encourage investment and reduce disparities between regions, and also encourage investment in priority sectors, and of course to create jobs, because it is one of our ultimate objectives. So for eligible projects, they can be eligible to have a cashback subsidy that goes up to 30% of their capex. And for any projects which investment amount will exceed $200 million, this is regarded as strategic projects, and they are necessarily having specific needs. This is why the government is giving a special treatment or support to meet the specific needs of these projects, and the support is negotiated on a case-by-case basis. And there are also for projects that will export more than 85% of their products, and we are talking here industry-wise, overseas, then there are what we call the specific economic zones or industrial acceleration zones, which have a preferential tax regime. So it's 0% corporate tax for 5 years, then a flat rate of 20% afterwards, total exemptions from VAT and customs duties on imported goods. And we have also what we call the dedicated training centers. So the government can support, of course, eligible projects for hiring and training the necessary labor force through the training centers that are, as I already mentioned, specialized in different sectors, including renewable energy. Thank you very much. I would like to emphasize that there are diverse investment opportunities to seize by your German companies. The momentum is definitely toward Morocco, and this is why our momentum, our branding is called Morocco Now. It's a call for action. And of course, seeing is believing. So we invite you all to come to Morocco. We will be more than happy to assist you, along with our, of course, partners, MASEN and other involved stakeholders. For any investors looking for a stable, competitive, and sustainable destination to tackle the different strategic markets around the world, then Morocco is most probably, if not definitely, your best choice. Thank you very much. I'm leaving my contact details for anyone who would like to reach out to me afterwards. Thank you.
Dear Ms. Benslama, merci beaucoup pour votre présentation. Thanks so much for your presentation. And without further ado, I hand over now the microphone to Mr. Nisa Massini from MASEN. Please start your presentation. Welcome again, Mr. Massini.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I start by sharing my screen. So if you could just allow me for a few minutes. So first of all, I wanted to thank Mr. Marx and Mr. Schmidt for giving us this platform to discuss and present the Moroccan offer for green hydrogen. I'm Nizar Mezini. I'm a Market Intelligence and Strategy Officer here in MASEN. I've been working in renewable energy related topics for more than 10 years today. And more and more, I've been working also on green hydrogen topics as a member of the Green Hydrogen Task Force here in Morocco. So to give you a brief presentation of MASEN very quickly, we are the group responsible for leading renewable energy initiatives in Morocco. So our role is to help accelerate the national energy transition in the kingdom. And we play a key role for the development of private investments in renewable energy. And since March 2024, we are also the focal point for the Moroccan green hydrogen initiatives. So as it has been brilliantly presented by my colleague Nahla, Morocco has been and still is quite ambitious when it comes to renewable energy sector. We also have been a precursor in the regional and continental level. We have a target we have an ambition to reach at least 52% of renewable energy capacity before 2030. As of today, late 2024, we have reached a share of 45.5 renewable energy capacity, which sums up to around 5.4 gigawatt of operational projects and 3.6 gigawatt of in development. So, as I said, we have been a precursor in the field of renewable energy at the continental level. Starting 2020, we have noticed that there's some traction regarding green hydrogen projects all over the world. It applied also in Morocco. So between 2020 and 2024, we had a keen interest from investors, more than 100 investors which have been interested to develop green hydrogen projects in Morocco. With that in mind, we have been strongly advised by His Majesty the King to start to think of a framework that would optimize investment in green hydrogen projects in Morocco. Seeing the geographical situation of Morocco, it is quite obvious that we have some major assets to become a competitive destination in the green hydrogen sector and the global supply chain. So we are close to center of demands, mainly to Europe. And as it has been explained by my colleague Nahla, we have also free trade agreements with many countries, so the US, America, Turkey, and other countries. And we are also blessed with some very competitive and skilled labor. So focusing up a bit more about Morocco's assets for the development of the green hydrogen sector, mainly I would say that it's a strategy led at the highest level of state with the involvement of all the stakeholders, the national stakeholders, with MASEN as a focal point. We have also one of the most competitive renewable energy in the world. So we have abundant and diversified renewable energy sources all around the kingdom, be it solar power, wind energy, both onshore and offshore. We also give access to dedicated and high potential land, and it's something that will focus more on the next slides. We have also state-of-the-art infrastructures, like it has been explained by Nahla, and we have a very geostrategic positioning, serving many countries and the free trade agreements, providing access to a potential of a market of around 2.5 billion consumers. So what came out as out of our reflection is the Morocco offer, as it has been explained in the circular, which has been published in March 2024. And this circular provides a simplified investor pathway and a transparent and pragmatic framework to develop green hydrogen projects in Morocco. So it's quite comprehensive and transparent, going through the scope of application of the Moroccan offer, the land mobilized for the implementation of the offer, what infrastructures will be necessary to develop these projects, the incentives, the process, and the governance of the hydrogen sector. And I will dive in each of these aspects. So regarding the scope of the Moroccan offer, it's aimed at investors or consortiums wishing to produce green hydrogen and derivative in the kingdom and on an industrial scale to address both the Moroccan market, the export, or both at the same time. The key word here is that we are aiming for integrated projects. So from the upstream, from the generation of electricity from renewable energies and electrolysis, to the downstream transformation of green hydrogen into ammonia, methanol, synthetic fuels, etc. So the idea behind that is to co-develop with private investors green hydrogen hubs and green hydrogen platforms that would produce one of the most, if not the most competitive green molecules in the world. So with that in mind, and for that, the Moroccan offer gives access to dedicated and high potential land. So we have identified 1 million hectares of land. This land will be divided in phases. So the first phase which is ongoing, the first phase of the green hydrogen offer is around 300,000 hectares, which in itself will be divided in plots between investors, between 10,000 and 30,000 hectares. And as you can see here, and as I said earlier, Morocco is blessed with excellent renewable energy resources, and in some place you can find one of the most competitive solar and wind energy resources in the same places. We also have state-of-the-art infrastructures, like for example the Tanger Med port. We have also ports that will be launched very soon, Nador West Med and Dakhla mainly. And we are also developing other infrastructures such as desalination plants and pipelines. So to give you more explanation regarding the infrastructures, with the Moroccan offer, we are aware of the fact that very efficient and very important infrastructures will be needed to help deploy green hydrogen projects. It could be port infrastructures, hydrogen and converted gas pipelines, desalination plants, salt cavities for storage, strong national power grid, or local local industrial integration and industrial estates. For some of these infrastructures, some of them are already operational, like the Tanger Med port. Other infrastructures are currently being in construction, and we also leave the opportunity for investors to develop their own infrastructures within our private and public partnership scheme framework. Regarding the incentives, we have both investments incentives and tax and custom incentives. So as Nahla has explained it, so we have the new investment charter, which Nahla have explained. We have also tax and customs incentives, mainly import duty exemption, VAT exemption on goods purchased domestically and imported goods, and tax and custom and advantages for the industrial acceleration zones. developed for the green hydrogen projects. Regarding the process, we made sure that we could develop and that we will develop the most transparent and the flexible framework. So the selection and contractualization process between the state and the investors is quite clear. It starts with the receipt of the application. So each investor has to propose his project through MASEN, which will be in charge of the evaluation of the projects. The selected projects will then go into initial negotiations to develop the pre-FEED studies. These pre-FEED studies will be evaluated by a steering committee and the investment committee, the wali of the regions, and MASEN. And at the end of the pre-FEED study, the selected projects will have a preliminary contract land reservation. Also, at the end of that, we go to the final negotiation studies, the FEED studies, which will help evaluate the project by the state on a technical, financial, and environmental basis, and according to the defined externalities. So the investors will have a maximum 18 months to deliver these feeds. And after that, we go through the accuracy of the commitments to either have a positive FID, and then we do a follow-up of the projects. So also the governance, to present you very quickly the governance of the green hydrogen sector. So as I said earlier, MASEN is the focal point for investors. So we'll be acting as an interface between investors and public stakeholders. We will also be assisting the investment committee, which is just with steering the committee and is chaired by the government investment authority. And the final and most important, let's say, committee is the steering committee, which is chaired by the head of government. One key aspect of the green hydrogen offer is the positive externalities for the kingdom. So the idea is really to co-create industrial platforms around green hydrogen. So the idea behind that is that we are aware of the need for the investors to maximize and optimize the commercial value of the projects. But for the kingdom, we think that it's very important to also maximize the social economic externalities of these projects. So either through job creation, the development of the skills, the development of our energy sovereignty, the financial benefits for the state, the industrial integration, and the emergence of an industrial ecosystem. So as Nahla said it brilliantly earlier, we firmly believe that Morocco is the gateway for a sustainable future, and that it's a destination that will both facilitate new investments and to have one of the most competitive industrial platforms in the world. So with that, I'll close my presentation. If you need if you have any questions, you can ask us directly in the chat, or if you request any visits or something like that, please reach us through our website. Thank you very much.
Dear Mr. Massini, merci beaucoup aussi à toi pour la présentation. Thank you so much. Was very impressive, both presentations, and now you were very well in your time schedule. We have enough time for Q&A session, and therefore my thanks go to Caroline Reiser and Philip Marx, who have gathered meantime all the questions which were put in the chat. And Ms. Reiser, Mr. Marx, please start posing those questions to our two experts here in the webinar.
Thank you, Mr. Schmid, and especially thank you once again, Nakhla and Nizar, for this very insightful, informative presentation. So the chat is open for questions for both of them, so we can ask them anonymously here. So do not hesitate to ask any questions in the chat. We will put them together, and Caroline will be directly asking these questions to Nizar and Nakhla. We also gathered some questions from stakeholders from Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria before, but I think there are some questions here, and I will hand over to my colleague from Bavaria, to Caro, for asking the questions. But as an information, please ask questions in the chat. We have enough time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you also from my side to Mr. Schmid for the introduction, and for Nakhla and Nizar for their great presentations. Yeah, we already have two questions in the chat. So the first one was if there are chemical ports in Morocco. I don't know who might be the best one to answer. Nizar, Nakhla, can you say something about the chemical ports in your country?
Yes, maybe I will start, and maybe Nizar, if you have any additions, don't hesitate to complete my answer. Indeed, there are chemical parts in Morocco, namely Jorflesfar, which is used to export chemical products and derivatives from phosphates used for the fertilizer industry. They're also used to export some petrochemical products as well. It is the case also for Tangemed ports, but it's more like a container port. And it will be the case of Nador West Med, with a view to use it also to export, namely petrochemical products. And of course, regarding the green hydrogen offer, so Nador West Med and especially Dakhla Atlantic ports will play a crucial role. And as already mentioned by Nizar, there are other infrastructures that could be developed either as a public-private partnership or as an initiative among the private developers, because the idea is to have mutualized common infrastructure that could be used between the different consortiums that will be selected. We talk not only about ports, but also desalination stations, water desalination stations, pipeline, and so on. And of course, this will be negotiated once the developers are selected. Nizar, I don't know if you have any additional information to add.
No, you have been quite clear and efficient. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the next question is about the pre-FEED studies. When do they start? Is there a specific date that you can say already?
So maybe I can take this question. Well, to give you to explain to you the process. So each investor has to submit his project to MASEN, and MASEN will do the evaluation. And once the evaluation are done, some projects will be shortlisted. They will be shortlisted to start these pre-FEED studies. So we have already signed a contract with one investors. So he has started the pre-FEED, and once other investors will be selected, they will also have to start the studies. One additional information is that each investors once he will sign the first contract, he'll have between 6 to 12 months to complete the pre-FEED study.
Perfect, thank you. That was really clear. Then we have another question about the levelized cost of hydrogen in Dakhla and other production sites of hydrogen. Can you say something about the levelized costs in Dakhla or in other sites in Morocco?
For the moment, we can't give you figures regarding the levelized cost of hydrogen in Dakhla, but what we can say is that we are quite confident that it will be one of, if not the most competitive green molecules in the world, given the fact that solar and wind electricity is already quite competitive in Morocco.
Okay, great. Then is there already a project shortlist published already?
One investor has already been announced a few weeks ago, and we are expecting the next batch of projects to be announced anytime soon in the coming weeks.
Okay, perfect. So far, I don't see any further questions in the chat, but I still like to invite everyone who is participating to pose some further questions. We have also one hand raised in the chat.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is it
Mrs.
okay?
Bergmüller.
Because
Yeah,
it
I
is
heard
not
that you have
possible for
difficulties. Yeah.
yes, it is not possible for me to write in the chat. I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention something I wanted to write in the chat initially. The Bavarian Industry Association, VBW, is currently working on the basics for a possible offer to Morocco, and we wanted to offer interested companies to get in touch with us if they have any questions, maybe with our managing director, Christine Völzow, or myself. I cannot post our contact details now, but we are also already in contact with MASEN directly. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much for this input. So everybody who's interested, please also get in contact with Mrs. Bergmüller, or also us, of course, from the H2 Bavaria if you like to contact with them. Then I have one question about the auctions. I don't know what the particular question is. Maybe you can further say a little bit about what you actually want to know about the auctions. In the meantime, maybe I can ask the question regarding the consortia and the investors. So is it also possible that individual companies can apply for the Offre Maroc, or should they also be together in a consortia?
So, excuse me, the question is it possible for one company to submit? Yes, it's perfectly possible. They have the choice either to come alone or in a consortium.
Okay, great. And do you also include the scientific community? So is there also some research projects going on, some research institutions that can be included in the consortia as well to make some studies on the sites as well, maybe?
It's something possible. I mean, if the investor wants to bring the scientific community to develop, I mean, to be involved in the pre-FEED or the FEED study, it's his choice. But also we have some, let's say we also have some pilot and demonstration projects with the Moroccan universities, mainly UMCSP and UM6P and IRSN. So they are developing right now some green hydrogen pilots in the region of Jof Lasfar.
Okay, perfect. We have another.
If you allow me, Caroline, I just maybe add something to Nizar's answer regarding the investors, whether they can, of course, submit their offer individually or as part of consortium. Of course, they are free to do in either way. But just keep in mind that there are several criteria that are used to select the investors or consortiums, namely the financial robustness of the company or the companies involved in the consortium, their track record in terms of renewable energy, any hydrogen projects already implemented or being developed so far. Of course, the positive externalities for Morocco, including the industrial integration, because as you know, as I already mentioned, our ultimate objective in general and through this green hydrogen offer specifically is to create jobs. And as you know, renewable energy projects don't create much jobs. So we are paying special attention to the industrial integration part, whether it is horizontal or vertical, meaning the equipment, manufacturing equipment necessary for the upstream, the blades, the wind blades, the solar panels, and so on, but also in the midstream, so the electrolyzers and all the industries that will consume the green hydrogen or its derivatives in Morocco, including the green aluminium, green chemistry, DRI, and so on. So we are looking we evaluate the proposal of the investors or the consortium based on different criteria. And of course, maybe one company cannot be specialized on the whole value chain. So we're talking from the upstream to the electrolysis to the infrastructure parts, and maybe it is a good idea. It's recommended to have a partnership with the technology partners, with the companies having expertise in the renewables. And also we need to have an idea about the offtake part of the project. So this is in a nutshell the way or the criteria that will be used to evaluate the different proposals submitted.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Nakhla, for the further elaboration. You mentioned the offtake. In your presentation, I saw that domestic offtake and also exports are possible. So is it wise to already have some LOIs, for example, once the consortium or the company is applying, that they already have some ideas about potential off-takers? Is that correct?
Yes.
So LOIs are sufficient, or do you need some further commitment already?
No, I mean, we understand that the market is still nascent, so it will be quite difficult to have, let's say, binding offtake at this stage. So, like Nahla said, we are looking indeed at the offtake side of the projects, but at this stage, we can be consistent with the LOIs.
Okay, great, thank you. We had a hand raised before, but now I don't see it anymore. If there's still a question,
yes,
please.
Yes, I have something to say. Thank you for the presentations, but I need to know your opinion from MASEN and MD. I know we need to satisfy the government goal, which is decarbonize the large-scale industry, and somehow the hydrogen seems the right answer. So when we talk about integrating hydrogen to energy ecosystems, is crucial not to focus only on the levelized cost of hydrogen, of course. And what we need to talk about is actually the cost of avoided carbon that hydrogen can help eliminate, right? So this is where market mechanisms like auctions and transparent pricing are so vital, ensuring both buyers and sellers are aligned on the price and value. So, but auctions do more than just reveal costs. They can be lifeline for creating certainty in the market. So And also one of the barriers that we faced in the large-scale industry of hydrogen projects today is the lack of financial certainty. Like we have CapEx grants alone often don't provide the long-term revenue visibility needed for the project to be deemed bankable. And also the OpEx-based support doesn't provide the financial visibility that banks need to assure that the project is viable for decades. So this is where auctions play a crucial role. They have the unique ability to like target both CapEx and OpEx. I really want to know your opinion about that.
So, Nahla, I don't know if you want to take the question or if you... Okay.
Yes, please take it.
Okay, so regarding auctions, I mean, I agree that there is, I mean, it's one of the ways that we can have market signals regarding green hydrogen and transparent green hydrogen signals. In the case of the Moroccan offer, we will not be relying, we will not be relying on auctions. So the way we thought about it is that we wanted to, given the uncertainty that you were talking about, we chose a different approach. We wanted to develop a framework that would be flexible enough to allow investors to adapt to any changes in the market. So that's why we let them enough time to do their studies. We are quite confident that the land that will be allocated is one of the best, if not the best worldwide. So it will allow them to be competitive. Next to that, they will have enough time to do the pre-FEED studies to start define the projects. And they also have 18 months. Once they end the pre-FEED, they have 18 months to end the FEED. So it leaves them enough time and enough room to study the market dynamics, look for financial support, develop the offtake side of the market. So that's one of the ways we thought to help develop these projects. So we will not be financing directly. We will not be going through auctions, but we believe that our approach is flexible enough to help investors be efficient once they have a good idea of the project. And Nahla also pointed out about something. So it is clear that I mean the cost of hydrogen is not the end game. So we understand that, which is totally natural. Investors would want to maximize the commercial value of their projects. But regarding Morocco, given the fact that we give access to very good land and excellent infrastructures, we are also aiming to maximize the social impacts of these projects, the social and economical impacts of these projects.
So the pressing issue is the maturity of hydrogen market itself. So we know currently there is no centralized marketplace where suppliers and users can come together with the same level of transparency and price discovery seen in the more established markets. There is no Henry Hub for hydrogen, no Brent code equivalent, which is another problem to discuss. And as a member of the German Chamber of Business and of Commerce and Industry, it's very hard to link between the suppliers and of course the users of hydrogen. So thank you so much for your comments. Very helpful.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
We have some further questions in the chat, and I think the last one refers to the topic that we just raised about CAPEX and OPEX funding. So just to be clear again, there won't be any support regarding CAPEX and OPEX cross investments from the Moroccan companies or some banks and funds, or is that not the case?
Nahla, if you want to take this question, please, regarding the financial support.
Yeah, definitely. As maybe already indicated, the focus is on creating jobs, and this will go through industry, through developing, and this is our objective behind the Morocco Green Hydrogen offer, is to develop an industrial ecosystem around the green hydrogen. So this is why the support for CapEx will go through the investment charter. And this will be, I would say, provided for eligible projects, industrial eligible projects that will fall within the local integration, as I said, either horizontal or vertical, as part of these green hydrogen projects. So meaning for any German company as part of the consortium, a consortium that has already submitted the proposal, that will manufacture either wind turbines or towers or solar panels, electrolyzers, any components used for equipment for renewables or the electrolysis, or the industries that will consume the green hydrogen or its derivatives. These industrial projects are eligible for CapEx subsidy. It's a cashback subsidy that can go up to 30%. Plus, of course, customs duties exemptions and VAT exemptions on goods purchased locally, and as well as imported goods. So these are the main incentives for the industrial projects falling within this, I would say, green hydrogen projects. And there are also, and it has been mentioned in this circular, and I invite everyone to have a look at the circular published by the head of government in March 2024. It's available on MASEN's website. That explains really the details regarding the selection process, criteria, the incentives, infrastructure, and so on. There are also the idea to create what we call industrial acceleration zones for these industrial projects to benefit from a preferential tax regime that gives fiscal and customs duties incentives as well.
Thank you so much. Another question in the chat is about the water source for the hydrogen generation. So you already mentioned this is desalination plant. So is it subject, or is it planned that all the water that is used for hydrogen production is coming from desalination plants?
Excuse me, is the question regarding desalination plants?
Yeah, so where the water is coming from for the hydrogen production.
It will be mainly coming through desalination plants. We think that desalinating water won't be too expensive in Morocco regarding to the final cost of hydrogen. So thank God we have enough seas in Morocco. So the majority of the water will be coming through desalination plants.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
Maybe just complete. So it's out of question to use tap water. As you know, Morocco is facing water stress, and water is strategic topic in Morocco. So definitely desalination water plants will be used for the electrolysis process, and they will be powered by renewable energy. So either solar or wind resources.
Yes,
Okay,
and maybe one thing I need to add. Like I said in my presentation, we are aiming for integrated projects. So the more integrated, the better it is, and it goes through renewable energy generation through the final project, and in the middle stream, you will obviously find desalination.
So with regard to integrated projects, it is probably best if there's like a consortia offering already different stages of the value chain. and having a clear plan how to produce hydrogen, where the water is coming from, and so on and so on. So what about a technology provider, for example, looking for potential partners for consortia? Is there like a platform where potential partners could look at and see who else is interested in the Moroccan offer? So is there a sort of matchmaking to get interested parties together?
For the moment, there's no such matchmaking tools to allow potential investors to connect to each other. But it's yes, it's a good idea. But I think that, I mean, what we saw in the first phase of the green hydrogen offer is that companies have they have no difficulties to come together and to find each other to propose projects, and usually, like Nehla said, it's easier for them to come through a consortium to cover the majority of the value chain. So thankfully, such matchmaking tools haven't been. We didn't need that for the moment.
But it might be possible if somebody is looking that they could contact MASEN, so maybe you, and then say that they're interested and maybe they are looking for partners, then you could maybe help support them with finding other partners as well.
Sorry, I have some troubles hearing you. It's cutting. So
Yeah.
So your question is if an investor is interested to come to MASEN, and if we can help them find is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a possibility. We have an open door policy, so we welcome any investors to reach MASEN and reach the other public stakeholders, and it's something that we have already done, and we also have this role to advise and give some directions to investors.
Okay, thank you. Another question in the chat is about white hydrogen, or also called natural hydrogen. Do you have some knowledge if there is already something going on in Morocco with regard to white hydrogen? Are there some projects already going on in that regard?
Nehla, do you want to check this question?
Yes. Actually, there are some studies, maybe ongoing, and willingness for the government, of course, to explore natural hydrogen or white hydrogen. Even international companies interested to do the exploration. But maybe for now, the focus is on green hydrogen. But we also are interested to explore the potential of white hydrogen in Morocco. So there are studies ongoing in that sense.
Okay, really interesting. Thank you. I don't see any further question in the chat. Please let me know if I did miss something. Otherwise, I would have one last question from my side with regarding to the infrastructure again and the export of hydrogen. So in the future, there might be a pipeline connection, a hydrogen pipeline connection from Morocco to Spain to Europe, for example. Are there any plans from the Moroccan side to build infrastructure itself, or are they waiting for foreign investors? Yeah, you also mentioned to ports. So what kind of strategies does the Moroccan government have for hydrogen exports?
Nehla, do you need to take this question, or do you want to?
No, maybe I'll start and you can complete. So, as I already mentioned, the idea is, of course, to use existing infrastructure and to leverage existing infrastructure, whether it is ports, pipelines, and so on. We have connection with Europe, and we have also projects undergoing with our African neighbors, the Maroc, Gazoduc Maroc, Nigeria, pipeline with Nigeria that is under development. So yes, the idea is to use existing infrastructure, but also there are pipelines that will be developed and need to be developed. And as I said, it's the idea is to have either public-private partnership or private initiative from the consortiums to mutualize investment between the projects. Morocco cannot afford such heavy investment alone, and definitely PPPs, public-private partnerships, and private investments will be needed to achieve these investments, including the pipelines. Maybe Nizar, don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, maybe something to complement. Well, like I said earlier, and like we discussed with Mr. Rehab, I mean, it's still a nascent industry, so it is not yet clear what's needed, how much is needed to export. So we will follow really learning by doing approach. So with that, that's what we said. That's why we say that it's the Moroccan offer is a very flexible approach, because the more project we will have, and we will size the let's say we will size the projects, the infrastructure projects, dependent of the volumes that will come. So it's something we will work closely with investors and the public institutions, and that's why MASEN is the focal point of the green hydrogen offer. So we act as an interface between the two, the investors and the public institutions, also to the field of infrastructures. So like Nahla said, there are some infrastructures that are already existing. For example, the pipeline. There is the one connecting Morocco to Spain, which is already operational both ways. Other will come through, and if needed, be it ports, be it the pipelines, we will work closely with both public institutions and investors to size them.
Sorry, I just want to add something about the pipelines that comes from Nigeria. Actually, there is 2 pipelines from Nigeria, onshore and offshore, 22-inch for each one. And we transport it was before transporting the natural gas, but now we want to convert it to transport the hydrogen, and going to transport the hydrogen into Europe from the north of Morocco to Tarifa in Spain, and then we're going to transport the hydrogen to other countries in Europe. So this for more information.
Thank you very much for the addition.
So thank you very much. I don't see any further questions. So Nahla, Lisa, thank you so much for answering all the questions that we had. Then I think I will hand over back to you, Philip.
Yeah, thank you also from my side. Just as a short question, is there somebody who was facing the same technical issues with the chat like Ms. Bergmüller before? So we have enough time if someone wants to ask a question and couldn't do so because of the chat. It's open to ask questions. If not, I will hand over to Mr. Schmid, but just from my side also some quick words, because I want to thank you very much, Nahla and Nisa, for these presentations, for your calmness and professionalism in answering all the questions that came up here. It was an honor for us to have you here in this web seminar and yeah, as a speaker. So thank you from my side, and I hand over to the Ministry of Economic Affairs from Baden-Württemberg.
Thank you so much to you all, especially to you, Nahla and Nisa, for your expertise and your presentations. And it was a pleasure to have all these informative talks and presentations as a follow-up of our trip to Morocco. And as we told last year to all our partners in Morocco, it was a pleasure that we were able to arrange this delegation trip to Morocco, and I promise we tried that this would not be the last one. And so this follow-up is maybe the next milestone for our bilateral relationship between the state of Baden-Württemberg, but I'm sure also with the Free State of Bavaria, to go into international cooperation with your kingdom. And in that respect, if there's some need to make a follow-up of this webinar, please give us some advice, give us some call that we can arrange with our partners a webinar in a couple of months again about that topic. Ms. Glaser and I really would appreciate that, and we are sure that our partners would appreciate that. So that could be a beginning of a continuous information exchange. And so once again, a big thank you from all of us, from our two states, to you guys from the Kingdom of Morocco. And by this, I will close this webinar. Thank you so much and have a good day.